Hey, how's it going, guys? Eat My Addiction here. I got some hardcore team deathmatch on Cracked. And I know what you're probably wondering, is this another girl I slept with last night video? And I have to say no, sorry. Not in the traditional sense, though it is a very interesting story if you choose to believe it. And I know a lot of you are probably going to judge me for bragging, because there's no way around telling this story without sounding like I'm bragging a little bit. And I'm not going to deny it. Yeah, I'm bragging a little bit. But anyway, so this took place back when I was 21 years old. I had just moved in my first one-bedroom apartment where I was living alone. And MySpace was still pretty big, believe it or not. And this is the first part of the story people usually don't believe. This girl, she was like 24 years old, I believe, 25. She was stalking me on MySpace. Stalking, of course, is a loose term. She wasn't actually stalking me, but she sent me a friend request and started talking to me because she thought I was cute and interesting and shit like that. And this is before they had like really free like dating sites or whatever. So stalking on MySpace was the way to go if you want to get laid, kids. And so we started a correspondence for a couple weeks, talking, getting to know each other and all this shit. And then she proposed that we hang out. She lived out in San Francisco, like way fucking out, like an hour away from where I was. And I was like, yeah, sure. So we go out, we hang out. It was a fun time. Nothing happened, and I was okay with that. We're just getting to know each other. And then after that, we started hanging out. It was like once a month. And to this day, I will decree that this was the greatest relationship I ever had with a woman. She would come over once a month. She would bring me champagne and chocolates and scented candles, which I wasn't really crazy about until I started. You know, my apartment started smelling like dude, and then I got into it. And then she would fuck my brains out. And that's the nicest way I can put that. And this went on for a while, and it was fucking awesome, not gonna lie. I had no obligations to call her. I had no obligations to see her, like, at all. And it would always be like, she'd come over, we'd hang out, we'd make some food, we'd watch a movie or something, screw until, you know, odd hours in the night, and then she would leave before I woke up. It was fucking perfect. And yeah, I know I sound like an asshole when I say that, but I dated a crackhead for a year, so that's still like my greatest relationship. I'll talk about that in another commentary. And so this went on for a little while, and then I think it was like the fourth or fifth time we saw each other. She was Ukrainian. She was from the Ukraine. She didn't have really an accent anymore because she came over when she was like 9 or something. But she would lapse into broken Russian every so often. It was kind of hot, not gonna lie. And so she was. I forget how it came up. I think I just asked her like what was. Actually, I don't. Oh, it's so hard. I don't remember exactly how it came up. But we were having a conversation, and she like straight up said, "I killed a guy once." And I was like, come again? What was that? So it turns, she told me this, and obviously I was a little bit shocked at first, because you don't normally hear that from people, let alone people you're sleeping with. But apparently when she was 9 and she was immigrating from the Ukraine over to the U.S., her and her father were staying in a hostel in Austria. And this particular day, her father was out. He was doing some odd jobs just to get a little extra cash for their trip. And she was asleep in their room. And they had like a double room situation, I guess, or whatever. And so she heard someone in the next room. And she went over and peeked around the corner. And there was a thief trying to steal their shit. And without really taking it into too much consideration or putting too much thought into it, she just went downstairs, found the gun underneath the hostel caretaker or whatever's desk, went upstairs and shot him, and he died later that day in the hospital. And she wasn't charged with anything. She got away with it scot-free. And the way she told the story, not only, I mean, I'm a pretty good judge of character, and I can usually tell when people are lying to my face. Even before I started playing L.A. Noire, I knew the telltale signs. And she was 100% truthful. Like, I could tell. You could tell when people are tell you shit like that, you know? And like she knew every little detail, and it was like if it was a fucking made up story, it was well rehearsed. And if it was a made-up story, I don't know what the purpose was, because I still slept with her that night, so it wasn't like she was trying to scare me off or some shit. She came to my place. Like, she could leave whenever she wanted to. And, yeah, so... Yeah, and I guess, like, the further backstory of that was that she grew up on a farm. She killed animals all the time for meat and stuff like that, you know, or put down animals when they weren't doing their job correctly. And if any of you give me shit right now for reviving my buddy, my friend, he's actually my friend, he's not just a random player, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. I'm so sick of that. It's a tactical thing. If someone has second chance in your team, you can't control it, and you got an opportunity to help them out and keep them in the game so you don't lose a point, you do it, okay? End of story. I still think second chance is bullshit, but if my teammates are going to use it and they're my friends, I will help them out. But anyway, back to the story. So yes, I slept with a murderer. A cold-blooded murderer. I mean, the fact that she killed someone already is pretty fucked up. It's pretty fucked up. But she did it when she was 9 years old, and didn't really think too much of it at the time. Apparently, it was just kind of one of those things you do, you know. And I mean, that's pretty much it. We stopped seeing each other after. That was like, we were seeing each other like for like 5 or 6 months, something like that. And it wasn't like we were dating or anything. Like I said before, it was a completely open, purely sex-based relationship. And she would even talk about some of the other dudes she was screwing at the time, and it didn't really bother me. I was just like, you know what, whatever. You know, you're a decent person, and you screw me, and that's totally fine. But yeah, slept with a murderer, and I don't really think about it that often. But does that make me a bad person that I kept sleeping with this woman, knowing full well that she killed a man? I don't know. Tell me in the comments what you think about this, if you believe me or not. And thank you for watching. Have a good day.